Uh, Hi everyone. Welcome to Chatwoot Connect. We are hosting the third version here. Good to see you all, and thanks for making our last version a really good one. And we are back with some really good features, and we have a special guest, Teja from ToolJet this time, to demonstrate a couple of features with Chatwoot and how to build internal apps with ToolJet. Before going to them, I'll give a quick overview about what Chatwoot is and what Chatwoot Connect. Uh, so, Chatwoot is an open source customer and user platform where you can uh, get your customer queries all in one place. It could be from different channels like Instagram, Facebook, email, etc. And you can manage all these conversations from one place. And Chatwood Connect is our monthly meetup with the community, and we showcase our features and what we are building and what's upcoming. And we give a quick overview of all this, and we take in questions and we try to answer them within the live stream itself. And yes, that's it. And before going in, we will here's like quick overview of what we will be doing for this version of Chatwood Connect. We have features like Help Center, which is coming to Chatwood. We will be having a quick demo of Help Center today. And other than that, we have Fayaz from Chatwood team who will be showcasing dashboard apps. We also have Teja from ToolJet. ToolJet is an open source internal dashboard builder, and we will be showcasing how you can use ToolJet within Chatwood with the dashboard apps. And Teja will, along with Fayaz, will show you a quick demo of this. And yes, I will welcome Fayaz and Teja to the stage now. Hi, Fayaz.
Hello everyone, Fayaz here from Chatwoot. I work as a product engineer here. Uh, so yeah, uh, so just a quick demo of what dashboard apps do is they allow you to um, extend Chatwoot's functionality by embedding your own or third-party websites and applications right into Chatwoot. So yeah, and we have Teja here from ToolJet. He will be giving you a quick demo of how to use the ToolJet no-code platform to build an application and embed it right inside Chatbot dashboard. So yeah, over to you, Teja.
Hey, thanks, Fayez. I hope you'd be able to hear me well enough.
Yeah,
Right. So hi, I'm Teja. I'm a contributor to ToolJet, and thanks for having me here, and thanks to everyone for joining here. We'll be quickly jumping on straight into the topic. What we're going to talk today, as you already know, I think you'd be able to see my screen in a while. I'm just sharing it. Okay. I think I need Richa's help to turn it on. There you go.
yeah,
Okay,
he's
I
good to
hope
go.
you'll be able to see my screen here. As very specific into the context and the whole thing about today, we're going to talk like improving the customer support workflows with dashboard apps specifically, right? And that too, we are going to build them with Tooljet. And why Tooljet, we'll get to know more about it. But the demo app, what we're going to dive deep into, is going to be a customer 360 dashboard app, right? So I'll let you know what it is and how you can make use of it and what this customer 360 is all about. To be very specific, I'm kind of assuming that you would be aware of what customer 360 is all about. But anyhow, I'm happy to actually go run through a little bit about what customer 360 is about, right? So here's the agenda. So we'll just quickly jump into understand what customer 360 is all about, because that is the basis of the app that we're going to build, which is the dashboard app for Chatwood, right? And then we'll quickly sneak peek and see the end result, which is the actual app that we're going to build, right? And then we'll see what toolset and how you can build such apps. And then we explore the app builder a bit, and then we jump into the demo. At the end, we'll have the Q&A. We have a few of folks from the tooljet being here to actually help you answer a few questions, which are if they are very much related to the product, right? All right, so let's jump into what customer 360 is actually about, right? So if you're a business or very specific to product specific business or a service that actually matters a lot about the customer support, right? So when customer support is the core, or also about the decision making about any product releases or product updates, or even product feature building or customer service and all of that, it is very much important to understand a customer data point. When I say a specific customer data point, it is like a 360-degree view of a customer's data, right, with all the interactions across different units of the businesses. What I mean by that, to tell you more descriptively and also make you understand a little more, I'm going to give a little bit example about how a customer 360 data would look like. So it can be a website inquiry about products. So if you have a customer, he or she made an inquiry on your website about your product, right? So that is a data point, or or itself has its own database. Now you consider as one, and then you also have the same customer might be asking product purchase, or no, might be having some product purchase history from you, right, from your business. And then the other thing is might be like support assistant. The same customer might have taken some support assistance from multiple sources of your company, right? And then the other thing is service issues or social presence and feedback and requests that you have got from a single customer. Now if you wanted to make something out of it, having all of this together in one place to actually make a decision, or actually make to perform, actually offer anything towards the customer, it is helpful to have all these data points at a single place and then actually make a decision, right? That is a whole point of customer 360. So it's a, as I just to repeat, it's a 360-degree view of a customer data with all the interactions across different units of the businesses. So now as we are into kind of low level, looking into the specific details of each of it, let me take you a bit into a high level thing. In a very high level, you have the sales data, you have the support data, and you have the marketing data. So imagine that you wanted to that the customers or the users would be very much overlapped here. People who are in the sales might be in the support, or also might be in the marketing campaigns and all of that. So you might be able to see a single data point or a single customer would be laying across all of this, and even much more, right? You would be having even many more units as such, and you would be able to find these customers across. And now we wanted to access and know more about how the interaction has gone through for this customer across these units. And that's where like the whole 360, right, the data customer 360, it's more about the data accessibility, how you could able to access the customer 360 data across all of this, right? So that is where in a high level it is all about data accessibility and analysis from different units. So but in today's demo, the app what we're going to go and build is going to be very simple use case of it. Customer 360 is way beyond, and it's also highly in a very high level. But what we're going to look in is a minuscule out of it, where we'll take a instance and take some sort of a use case, and we build an app for Chatwoot dashboards with the help of the ToolJet, right? So here we go. The sneak peek of the app, what we're going to build would look like this. We're going to use ToolJet and Snowflake as the database, and you'll be able. Let me quickly show you how the actual app look like. So if you, this is you should be pretty much familiar. This is the Chatwood window, and you know that, right? You go to integrations, and then you go for here. You should be able to see what we call as dashboard apps, right? So this is where you configure and you add a dashboard app. So I just added a few three here. We have a 3 dashboard apps running. These are the ToolJet apps, okay? To just give you the understanding of a little bit about how this works, and also to recap about what a dashboard app also looks like. So if I go to the chart of a specific customer, so imagine this is just a random duplicate thing which I just did to just demonstrate. So you get into the chat window of your customer. Imagine he's your customer. With you can also look at the details. These are all fake. So just to give you the context. So now you wanted to communicate with this, and a customer 360 app would look like this. So if you can see this 360 button. This is itself a dashboard app that we are jumping into. So this is a customer 360 dashboard app, where now you can see that you can see this specific customer, his details. You can see all the details of him, and you can see the email is also the same which you have seen before, and is all details, and also he has an order history. He has done a couple of orders, and he also has a feedback on a specific product, which is soup and stuff and stage ground, and this is all some duplicate data that you can think of. So if you can just see this, if you get into the chat window, you can see the customer details. I'm not really sure how can pronounce this, but if you remember the email address, on hopping over to the customer 360 dashboard app, you should be the ToolJet app is directly fetching the customer, and it's showing the details of the orders and the feedback. So it's going to be a decision making for the agent while replying, right? So imagine this person is actually requesting for something, and the agent can actually hop into a different application, which is like a customer 360 app, and then search more about this person. Even it can be extensible, so there is a lot of space here, so you can build more about it. Even this is very much constrained to details, order history, and feedbacks and ratings, but you can also extend these features to much more beyond this, or like support tickets, or even the customer care interactions, or even the recent complaints it has made, so that you can able to have a complete understanding about this person before you reply for anything needed. So this is one use case, and this is also something that we are going to build after the theory class here. So if you turn on, there is also another option. You can see this, right? Show all customers. You can actually turn this toggle so that it actually shows all the customers' data. So you can actually see all the data is here, and once you click on each row, it is going to change the order history. I mean, it shows the order history of this specific customer. So this customer has an order history and a feedback of specific, and then there's a lot, right? You can click on it and then change, and it shows up. If you wanted to be very specific about the user, you can turn off this, and it shows the specific user of this window itself, right? Which is this email address. It is getting the data from the email address. So another instance I can show you of how you can use dashboard apps and also build dashboard apps. Something like this is a make a refund thing. So imagine you have a customer asking for a refund, and you can actually, you have to go through different phases of different websites to perform refund and stuff. So if the agent has this access to perform refunds, he can actually hop over to the make refund section, which is a dashboard app built with ToolJet. And now you can see that you can actually perform refund right from here. There is also this, all of this is a dummy data, but the data which is coming from Stripe is true, which is not related to the Chatwoot here, but you can build these apps. We already have this live. You can check it at blog.tooljet.com. You have a app that you can build with this, and you can integrate with this Chatwoot very easily as well. This is how, I mean, to just give you more context about how you can use dashboard apps and also build tools, right? So there you go. You have another use case. You can actually build a refund tool while you're chatting with your customer. You go over and you can perform a refund. And the best part is you also have check refunds. This shows some previous history of refunds that it has made before, the success and failures and all of that. It should be pretty much helpful. And then the other use case that I can also show you is coupon code manager. So imagine you're talking to a customer, the agent is talking, and he wants to give a coupon code. You can actually use this dashboard app to create coupons and actually share it with them, specific to a customer, even if it needed, right? So the back end of this is actually a Google spreadsheet. It's not even more complicated. It's you can actually integrate your Google spreadsheet and then connect to Chatwoot with the help of ToolJet by building it. So all these three apps are actually built with ToolJet. And the way how I integrated is I just went to settings, integrations, add new dashboard app, and here you go. You can see all of this, right? So I hope you understood how we can make use of dashboard apps and build apps with ToolJet and integrate and get helpful for agents wherever is needed, right? So I'll just look forward. I'm sure there would be a few questions coming up on this, but I'll be looking forward for that. I'll put the questions in the chat. I'll make sure go through them at the end. But again, so getting on to the deck, I think I missed it here. Okay, there you go. So this is one app that we're going to build, and don't expect it to be so beautiful like this, because it also is time sensitive thing that you have to design all of this by adjusting them. Design by means not, you don't need to code any of this. You just need to arrange a few things specifically so that it looks good. All right. So as I just shown you, this app which you have seen before is actually an integration with Stripe. So you can actually have the Stripe integration within ToolJet and make it possible. And again, the coupon code manager is a Google Sheets one. All right, let me go back and actually start building the app which I have shown you here, the Customer 360 app. So for that, I hope you would be able to do it along with me. If you are up for it, I'm super happy. I'd be also happy to assist in the chat as well. All you need to do is to go ahead, tooljet.com. And once you get in there, you can actually sign in. I already did. So if you are if you're new to ToolJet and never done a sign up, it should be very clean for you. And then you should go ahead and click on create new application. This will land you up into the in-app. So this is the studio or the I mean, what we call app builder. It's where you have this canvas and also the query panel, where this is where you actually perform all the calls to the database or the APIs or the cloud storages or anything. And then the canvas is where you build the things. On the right side, you have this component manager. This is where the fun part. This is where all the components which are pre-built and completely coded for you, so that you don't need to code any of this, right? All you need to do is to just drag and drop. So here you have this app ready here. So let's take this inspiration. We're going to follow this app here, right? So if you just look at this, we're going to create the same thing, at least closer to this, not to this level, but this is very clean. But what we're going to do is morely focus towards functionality, but not the UI. So if you just see here, you can able to relate this, right? This is a table, and you can see this. This is literally a table. So here you have this table. So we are using two tables here, and also we are using a list view, but we will also replace that using the table, so that it will be easy and you will get used to using tables much better. So let's go ahead. We need one table like this for customer details, another table for order history, another table for feedback and ratings. So let us quickly create three. So you have one here. I'm going to put it down a bit. I'm going to minimize the query panel a bit for some time. Have it to down, and we can name this customer details for that. So this is the table widget where we are getting from the components. So another thing, now we need to title this. Go ahead, search for the text one. So you can see this one text here. You can actually drag and drop on top of it and actually change this. Click on that, and on click of this component, you'd be able to see this manager, the widget manager gets changed. Okay, keep an eye on here. On click of this widget, you would be able to see it pops up a properties window itself. And it's same with the table. You click on the table, the properties get changed because the properties are different from table to a text. So click on the text, and now you'd be able to see the properties here, where now I'm going to change this name to customer details. All right. So here we go. So as now you can see, this is customer details, change it here. I can also change this and update a bit about by making it bold and look it more bigger one. So all you need to do is again, click on this, and now you see the properties, and there is also another tab that you can look in is styles. That is where you can actually change the font weight. So you can change it to bold here, and you can see it's already getting updated, and keep an eye on that. If you get down a bit, you can see the text size, change it to around 20, and you see it looks much better than before. So there you go. Now you have one part is ready. So if you just compare with the previous one, the customer details and the table here. So a bit closer, but yes, we'll definitely do the functionality, focusing on the functionality the most. And the next thing, here you go. You have another table here for orders. So I'm going to grab another table here. This is the widget. We're going to do the same thing as how we did before. Drag and drop, and we got another table. Maybe I'll arrange this a bit so that it looks good. There you go. And we're going to name this as order details. So I'm going to use the same one. I'm copy this by Control C or Command C, and Command V or Control C by pasting it. You can drag and drop and just paste it here. All right. So that, the best part of copying and pasting, so that you don't need to change the properties and again, right? It's just so similar. The weight and the size is 20 and it's bold. All you need to do is to change the name. So you can put it to order details. There you go. So it's going to be order details, this table specifically. Don't worry about the data here. This is a dummy data, whatever you're seeing here. We will update that to the real data from Snowflake. All right. So we need one more, which is feedback and ratings. All right. Let's replace that. Sorry, we're going to use table for that again, not list view for this. So I'm going to use another table. Let me put it down a bit so that I can title this, drag it down a bit. Okay. I'm adjusting it to make it look good. So again, let's go ahead. Let's make use of the copy paste. To click on this, Command C, Command V, and then get this down here. So maybe I can adjust a bit. So not to worry about the aesthetic part. It will be anyhow beautiful. It's the amount of time that you can just put on it to make it look good. And it's easy. Okay. So we're going to name this as feedback and ratings. Okay, so we have this thing ready. So it just constraint, you just need to put it a bit larger so that you give you more space to show it up. There you go. There you go. We are almost there. We have got the UI ready. and all we need to do is now to connect data for it. So in the first table you see customer details. This is where we need all the customer details, right? And then the other thing, for the orders we need order details here, and feedback and rating the similarly. So all of this data is coming from different sources, but for now we are going to put it, we are using Snowflake here. So you can see this is the Snowflake account which I'm using it for now. So I have a database in my Snowflake account which is customer 360. It has three tables in it inside public schema. So out of this, which three tables which are very relevant to what we are doing, one is customers, one is orders, another is ratings. So these are very much aligned with what we want: the customer details, orders, and ratings, right? So these are the three things which we will be using to populate, get this data from here and populate the table in ToolJet. So if you get into tables, you can see, I'm going to open just show you a sample how the customer data would look like. Click on the customers and then you see the data preview. You should be able to see the data what we'll be getting. So this is the database. Snowflake has this UI to preview the data of the database. So in database we are showing up the customer tables, and then similarly with the orders you can see the data preview here. The orders has the amount and purchase date and the item and all of that. And the ratings, so ratings are well known for the product comments and also the stars that you get the ratings, right? So we will get this data into the tooljet and make use of it. So how you could get this? So this is Snowflake and we are using the Snowflake database, and this is tooljet. So now do we need to use APIs to fetch all of their data? You don't actually need to, because tooljet has this integration to actually connect with Snowflake and directly get the data without worrying about any APIs. Of course, behind the scenes, all it matters about the APIs, but it's about making things easy and effortless. So click on the sources here in the left side bar. Once you click on that, you should be able to see an option to add a data source. Once you click on that, you have all the different integrations that you can choose to start integrating with, so that you can build things easy and faster. So what do we need here is the one is Snowflake. So click on it. So now you here it's asking for a few details that I'll just quickly fill in. But the thing you need to understand, these are the things that you can get from the Snowflake itself. I'll just quickly get them. So my username is this, and I need an account name here. So you can get it from the tool Snowflake configurations itself. So the password, and as you know, this is very much self-explanatory. If you see that the database name is customer 360, I can actually copy it from here and paste it there. And then the schema, so the schema is public, so I can copy it here again. All right, the warehouse is something that you can get it from the admin panel. So if you just go to admin, you just need to set it up a simple warehouse. You can also use the trial version of the Snowflake to get it. The warehouse which I will be using is SF.WH. So I'll use this for now. Okay, I'm wandering. There you go. So in the warehouse, you can paste this up here. And the role what we would need is the role of this actual warehouse. This is account admin role. You can copy it from here and actually paste this here. All right. So you can quickly test the connection if it is working well, if all my details are correct or aligned, if they are valid. So it will show you a green signal if the testing connection is right. There you go. The connection is verified. It means all the details which I'm giving, which I have given here are valid and much connected. So now you can decide that your tooljet app is connected with Snowflake. You are just left with make queries and get the data. Okay. So you can see the pop up, the data source is added. So now how you can access that and make queries. So all you need to do is now the play of now you have seen how you can use Canvas, and also how you can use the widget manager to get the widgets, and the sidebar how they are helpful. So now the play comes from the query panel. So this is where the query panel help you to fetch the data. So now you create a query, and there you go, you have the Snowflake option already here. It is here only because you added the query from the data sorry, it is only here because you added the data source as we have just done. So click on Snowflake, and now we need to get data by writing a simple SQL commands. It's going to be easy, no big deal, a single liners. So first thing first, let us populate this table. So this table is customer details. So we would need the data from the customer table to fill this in. So click on the Snowflake, and then the query we are going to write is select everything from customers. So this customers is a table name, if you just remember. So this is the name of the table. I better copy paste that to reduce any mistakes. All right, so I'm going to name this similarly by just saying list all customers. So this is where you actually name the query. So I just named it like list all the customers, and now you can preview this. So on click preview, you should be able to see that the data from Snowflake is coming in the form of a JSON, right? So this is pretty much the same data what you have seen in the customers and the data preview. So this whole data is now getting in the form of a JSON here, right? So let us create this, and you can also create and run it, right? So now the query is created. Look, you keep an eye here. Now it's get updated with the new query that you have had it, right? So you can just create. There you go. So the list, we have one query in the query panel, which is called as list all customers. Okay. So given we are done with the query, now the one step away to fill this data and populate this table is by just connecting this query with this table. So how you can do that is the same thing again. Click on the table. You'll be able to see the properties section, and this is where the data. So this data is a dummy default which ToolJet offers with the table. Remove this and now use this notation to actually call the queries. If you just write text, this is going to be a simple text. But if you want to call queries or write JavaScript, you will need to use these notations, right? So now you can just say queries, and you see the suggestions, or it just shows you options. So the one which we need, as you just know, you might have already guessed it, we would be using queries dot list all customers, right? So now from here, we would need data. Okay, so let me run this once so that it will show you the data. Right, there you go. Look at the ease of doing things. If you click on this, you would be able to see the data which is up here. And by just attaching it to it, the whole table is got populated with the real data. Right, now we can see the whole data is here. I'm minimizing the query panel. So the whole data is up here, which is coming from the Snowflake. So you can also resize a few things to make it look good. And the best part is you can rearrange these columns. To do that, click on the table, go to the column section, and what matters for us is the first name, and you can drag it easily so that you arrange the column names, and you can go for a phone number the next, or the email address better. So I'll put it on top of the phone number, and then the address in an order, so it will show you what's needed the first. And you can arrange this as needed so that it will look a bit good. Okay, so now given we are ready with this, and now you can see that this table is actually half empty, I mean less than half empty here. So you can actually build this, sorry, you can actually go to the next page of the table, where you can see the rest of the data. But to fill this the whole data, excuse me, so you can actually fill this the rest of the table by clicking on the table again and go to the properties, where you can actually change this here. So you see the number of rows per page. This is actually constrained to 10. And now once you update this to 20, you should be able to see them up here, right? So now the data is filled up. There you go. So now you have 20 list items, or the 20 records on this table, which is for the customer details. There you go. We are done with one part of it. We are left with two more things. We're going to fill the same thing with order details and feedback items. But there is a small change here. I'll just let you know how you do it much easier and faster, and how we need it. There you go. So what we need now is actually the order details, right? So for that, again, we're going to go create another query, and you know that the data will come from orders table, and you know the data preview how it looks like. It has an email, item, amount, and purchase date. So the table name is orders. I'm going to copy this now and go here, and now you click on add a new query from the query panel, and then the next thing, as you know, is Snowflake. Click on that, and we're going to write a query for that. So for that, again, a single liner, select everything from the database orders, right? So you can click on preview for now, so that it shows you the actual data. So this is the data which is coming from the Snowflake query, what we call the orders database. Okay, let's name this as a get orders, right? So I'm going to create and run this, or even save this. So I can do a quick hack by reloading it so that it loads faster. You see that the data is not getting loaded in the customer details. You know why? The reason is the query which is related for this is list all customers. So the thing what we can also do to make it load on every reload, you can go to advanced and turn on this option, run this query on page load. What it does, whenever the website or these app loaded, the first thing it do is to run this query. So you can save this, and once you to just show you, although it's not needed, I can reload it, and I can present that the data is getting populated here on reload. Okay, that's the option that you can have it on the advanced section of a query, right? So if you get into the get order section, this is the orders, and now you see that on preview you'll be able to get the orders. So next step, to connect this data to this table, right? So it's going to be the similar thing and easy again. So keep a watch on it. Click on this table, go to the properties, and there is table data. Remove this duplicate or the default data. Click on the, use this notations and call for queries dot get orders dot data. Right. So I can run this one more time so that it might get filled up. Yes, there you go. So the data is automatically loaded and the columns are also auto generated right from the JSON. So for orders, what matters for us is actually the item, what item the customer has ordered, and also the purchase date, to be honest, in the first place, and then the item, and then the amount of it. Possibly we need email, although we know it, and the ID is all for the algorithms and to arranging of stuff, not for us. All right, so let's rearrange a bit so that it looks a bit better. Purchase rate, amount, and all of it is here. Okay, there you go. So now this query will get loaded on reload, but when do we want this query to get loaded? So if you go to our actual app, you see this app, right? So if you see this, I'm turning on the all customers. So now you see this order history. This gets loaded on every click. So on every click, what it does, it looks for the specific customer and see if they have an order, right? So this table is specific and relevant and kind of dependent to this table, right? So on click of each customer, it goes and search for this customer if they have any order and present it here. So which means that on every click of this table, this the query needs to run and show the data here, and it's very simple as well. So how you do it? You have to add queries on this table. Add events on this table. Click on this table, and now you go to the events in the bottom, and then create an add event. So here you change the event. So the event is run query. Sorry, event is row clicked. So now on every row clicked, let us do what it is actually run query, right? So the query is nothing but the get orders. So if you look at it closely, what we're going to do, we are configuring this table and adding an event on it, which is nothing but on every row clicked, we're going to run a query, which is nothing but get orders. All right. So that's it. So now if you see, I'm going to click on this row and you see that this orders table is getting updated. So one click, it go ahead and updates. On every click, it go and updates. But here is the question. You might be having already the same question as how I had. On every click, the data is same. But the actual requirement, what we need on every click, the data should be relevant to the customer. So for that, we need to make a simple change. The thing is, we need to make a little bit of change in the query. So what we will be doing, we will fetch the orders of this customer based on the email address. So we will use this email address as a key for the database. So we will use this email address, this email addresses to actually fetch the order details. For that, go to the get orders and actually update the query. And we will add a filter here, a simple SQL line. So where you need to say where email is equals to, you don't need to you should not hard code it here again because it's going to be specific. That is where we'll get the help hand of the writing JavaScript again. So you can use this notations again and write actually the JavaScript. So now you're going to call components dot table one. That is the table one. You can see it here. This is the table one. So I'm calling a component. What component it is? It's a table one. And then I'm going to take the selected row. And in the selected row, I need the email address of the selected row. Right, there you go. So if you see and look a bit closely, it's already previewed here. So it's select everything from orders where email address is dynamic. So it's actually getting from the component and table one and selected row and that email address, right? So if I have to show you a bit closely, if you change this, oh God, okay, I did not save that. I'll show you one more time to save this much faster. So all you need to do is where email is equals to components.table1.selectedrow.email. You have the suggestion there. So it shows you the actual email address, right? So that's it. This is the whole query. Now you can save this. There you go. The query is updated. Now let us see on every click of this on a specific customer. Let's click on Kervin. So on click Kervin, so it should actually load the Kervin's data. There seems to be some issue. Let us debug that too. So there is some issue here. All right, I'll tell you what. So in SQL queries, you need to have single quotes on each query at the end. So you have to just add the single quotes at each, so that the query looks like this. So it needs to hide the quotes. I missed it. So now you save this and let us run it again. So click on Kervin again. And let's hope the data gets loaded here. There you go. So you see the data is getting loaded. It's now the specific to customer. So now the order table shows the data of only specific customers. So you click on Brady, and I don't think he has any orders, so it's not showing. I think it has. So it's taking a little bit time, but when you go for production, it will be faster. All right. So now we are done with the order details. Let's go and do the same thing for feedback and ratings. So feedback and ratings, as you guessed, we will be getting the data from this database customer 360 and the table ratings and reviews. I'm going to copy this up and go to this table. For this table, we have a query, list all customers. For the orders, we have a query for get orders. And for the same thing for ratings and feedback, we're going to create a new query. Click on the plus button. Select the snowflake. And then the same thing. It's going to be similar because feedback and ratings are also dependent to the customer table. So on click of this each row, the email address takes up and shows up and presents here, right? So it's going to be very similar to the get orders query. It's select everything from where? From ratings and reviews, where email is equals to, and we're going to go dynamic here and say components.table1.selected row.email. I hardly typed anything. It actually shown me everything. So I can use the quotes. So put the quotes up here so that we don't repeat the mistake again. And now let us name this query as get ratings. Okay, there you go. And now you can create and run. Okay, queries added. You can see now we have 3 queries for 3 different tables. Now the next thing, we are done with query creation. Now we have to connect the query to the table. Click on the table, go to the properties, remove this dummy data, and let's use the notations and call queries. You have the list already ready. Get ratings and dot data. There you go. So now you have this there. But again, so when do you want to execute this query? On click of this table, right? So now let's add another event on this table. So go to the events of this customer table, go to have an handler as how you did for the orders. Click on a handler and then click on, we're going to have an event. What is the event? On row clicked, we are going to run a query, and then the query is get ratings. All right. So here we are adding another row clicked event or an action. So on click of each row item, it's going to execute a query, which is nothing but the get ratings. All right. So now let's click on a query and see how it works. There you go. So now you have data filled up. And the best part is the data is automatically filling up. I don't need to configure the columns again. So let's again go back and arrange the columns as how we need. Click on the table so that you will get to the property section. Here we go. And now let's arrange. For feedback and rating, the most curious thing is the rating. Let's put it on the first. And then we need to what product the rating has come for. And then we would need specific comments more needed, right? So there you go. Let's arrange this a bit so that it looks good. Minimize it a little. It's not needed, even this space. I hope this looks good. There you go. So you have this all things ready. So you have the comment. We don't need the ID. So all right. So but I have to share you one thing importantly. We were using all tables here, but there is also one option here which is list view. This makes your app looks even more beautiful. So you can actually replace this table with list view. So that looks much better. So you can try it out on your own. It's very easy to do. It's much similar. I think you should be able to do it. So there you go. Let's test this here. I'm going to click on a customer. On click of this customer, the data should be loaded and changed, and it should fetch the order details of this specific customer and the feedback and ratings of this customer. So I'm going to choose Kervin again. On click, it should update the orders of this Kervin. So you can see the email address is very constant here. it fetched the order details, and also it fetched the feedback and ratings of Kevin. So this is the same email address. There you go. Now you have almost done. You're almost close to building an application. We have gone through in just around 25 to 30 minutes. We were able to build this without writing any code almost. So you can actually, we are not fully done. You remember we have this option to actually turn on all customers and not and do all of that stuff. Let's also do that. But for now, let's actually release this app. So what I mean by release, it's going to be a release of this version. So then it is ready to use. So once I released it, I have to share this. So you can see these options in the right corner. So release, I just released it, which I released. The version is the version 1, and now you can click on the share button. So this is where you can make your application public. All right, so you can turn on this button to make your app public. Now your app is public and shareable. You can change this URL as you want. I'm saying I would like to say this 360 demo. That should be fine. Yes, so I can copy this up. All right, so I can actually show you in a generic website on a new tab. So here you can see the app is running. All right, I need to better title this. So do you remember why the data is automatically getting filled? We turned on the onload option in the advanced section of the query. So on click of this customer, it should get us the order details and stuff. I can actually share this in the chat if it is possible, but I hope uh, our organizers would be able to get this URL and share it. I'm not sure how I share this, but yeah, you can test this out. It's applications/360 hyphen demo. Give it a try. So let us now actually connect this app to the Chatwoot dashboard apps. How we do it? Go to Chatwoot, get into settings, and once you enter the settings page, go for integrations, and that is where you have dashboards apps as an option. Click on configure, and now you go to the top right and click on this button, add new dashboard app. All right, give it a name. I'm going to say 36 demo 360 for now, and the endpoint is nothing but the app which we copied, which is app.tooljet.com applications/360 hyphen demo. Submit it. The dashboard app configured successfully, it shows, and then you go to the chat window here. All right, so keep an eye on it. We only have 3 apps here which are pre-submitted by me, which are 360 make refund and coupon code generate or manager. So you can refresh it, and now it should load the one what we added, the demo 360. All right, so if you go to demo 360, it should actually run the application with the same thing as how we shown in the public. So there you go. So now you have the app here, which all the customer details. On each customer, on clicking on each customer, it shows the demo. It actually shows the details of the order details and the feedback. It is, I mean, this glitch is because possibly because Chatwoot is constraining the space here. We can actually extend quickly fix in the next time while we are doing this. All right. So the next thing, if you look at the differences, it's very closer to the app which I have shown you, other than the details and the UI part of it. I made it look more beautiful, but yeah, it's already good enough. All right, so see that it's the app what we built so far is this one. You can actually see that this is a list view, by the way, to just introduce you to you. So the list view would be more beautiful. You can have the stars option and do all of that as needed. All right, so now what we need to do a little bit more is to have this another option to show all customers as a toggle. And if you turn off this toggle, it only shows the details of the person you're messaging, the customer. So by getting in 360, it only shows the customer details. As of now, this is getting from the Chatwoot API, which we will explore in a while. So that is the changes that we need to make. On changing, we should need to show the details of the customer directly. Okay. So far, I hope it's clear and very much straight to the point. I think for any questions, put it on the chat box again. I'll come at the end and actually address as needed. Okay. Let's go ahead and see go for the phase 2 of building this, adding a toggle there. Okay, for that, first thing foremost, we need to listen to Chatwoot for sending us the data. We are getting this email address from Chatwoot. So you can go to Chatwoot documentation and see there is a option in the documentation called dashboard apps. That is where you can learn to use how you can get the key for the data sender so that you can use that key and get it. So how you going to go do it? Go to our app builder again in the ToolJet. We're going to have another query. So we'll get that email very simply. We're going to use a little bit of JavaScript here. I'll share that code maybe sometime later. You can have a look into the description of this video so that you should be able to follow. All right, I'm going to go create a new query, which is going to be run.js code. So the one which we are going to use is going to be the Chatwoot docs. So I can go for docs and dashboard apps. So you can see this. I'm just showing you the Chatwoot documentation here. So this is the Chatwoot documentation for dashboard apps. So this is where you can actually hear to some events. So the event what we're going to hear is a message event, right? So the message event, on message we're going to get an event and we'll get the data from where we'll get the email address of the customer whom we are messaging to. All right. So this is one thing, the post message, the browser method, which will be listening to a specific key. This is the one which will be what we call, I'm not sure if it is a key that will be obviously mentioned here, but we will use this and put it into our ToolJet app to actually start listening. Yeah. So click on this and again run JS code, and let's name it something like Chatwood post message. Okay. So that should be nothing but the one what we copied. There you go. I think I copied it here. I'm sorry. Post message. There you go. So you can actually create and run it. You would not be able to see anything in the preview because it will only work once you start using this app inside the Chatwoot. So these are Chatwoot specific queries what we are writing here. So remember, the one query which we have written just now is a Chatwoot specific, so that it only runs when you start using this app inside Chatwoot as a dashboard app. Let's go ahead, create another query. Please click on this and now start listening to the one data what we are getting. So this is going to be the event. I'm going to use another quotes, little code snippet here. So this will actually start, we are adding a event listener to the window. It will listen to the event message. And once we have that, we'll get a data. We'll just make a quick validation here and then see the data has the app context. And then we'll see if the variable, we are setting a variable with this customer email address. Make a note on this. We are creating a variable with customer email, and then we are taking the email from the data we get from on message event, right? So then we'll get we'll also call another method here. Sorry, we'll also call another query. This is the ToolJet query, which we will create in a moment. So let's name this as on message event handler. Okay, we can create and save this. All right. So for the Chatwoot post message, you have to run this again as how we did for the customer details. You need to run this on page load. Another thing, we are going to have another event handler. So the one on successfully running this Chatwoot post message, we are going to run another query. So which is nothing but the on message event handler. So you can configure quickly from this query panel itself. You can select the query from here, on message event handler. So what I'm doing here, so the Chatwoot post message, on successfully running it on the page load, we're going to call another consecutive query, which is nothing but the on message event handler. So you can save it here. All right. Possibly it's taking some time. Okay. In the meantime, I'm going to create another query with the name get customer data. Okay, because we are using it here. There you go. It's already done. So it saved it here. I'm going to create another query to actually get the details of the specific customer, right? So I'm going to name this as something like get customer data, which we will use to get only a specific customer data. So as you have just seen in the previous, here we are only getting a specific customer data. So that is what the query we are writing here, get customer data. And the query for this is nothing but we will use the same thing. We will use the variable which is customer email. So you can actually access the same thing, variables dot customer email. So this customer email has come from, let me save this first. I'll show you in a while. So you see that get customer data, right? So in this, we are trying to access a variable, which is customer email, which is created in on message event handler. So if you see that, you would be able to see set variable here and the customer email. So this has been set in this, and now we are using it here, the customer email, right? So yes, so pretty much it's here, and now we need to switch the queries for this table. Okay, on a specific mode, you have to run this query. On a specific other mode, you have to do another thing. By the way, let's create another version. So the version 1, it is Chatwoot independently running, so it doesn't hear any data from Chatwoot. That is version 1. Let us create another version which will hear to Chatwoot data and actually shows the relevant information of the customer. Okay, we are creating a new version, V2. This is V1. And now on V2, we are going to have a toggle option, as you have just seen. And again, that is going to be another component. Let's go search for toggle. So you'll get the toggle switch here. You can drag and drop it here. Okay, so I'm not focusing on the aesthetic part for now. So I'm going to change this name to show all customers. Again, how do I do it? Click on the toggle, right? And now you get the property section open, and here you have the label. So click on name it show all customers. Right. So if users or the agents turn on this, then it actually should show all customers. If it is off, it should only show the Chatwoot messaging customer, the one who we are interacting with, right? So for that, we need to go ahead here and then change the query of this table. Click on this table and now go to the queries part. So we have to switch between two queries here. So how we do it? We're gonna access the events of the toggle. So how are we going to do it? We're going to say components dot toggle and then its value. So if it is on, it's true. Now it is actually off, so you can see it's false here. So if it is true, which means the agent is asking for all customers data. I'm using a ternary operator here. You can just make a note of it. But yeah, so you can just directly call queries dot on. If it is true, which means it is on, we need all customers. So we need list all customers dot data. If it is not, we're going to get the query, which is actually get specific customer, right? So just get customer data, and now the data. There you go. So now you see the data got disappeared because it only shows when the toggle is on. So if now you see the show all customers as toggle is off. Now if I turn this on, you get the data here. So if I have to turn this off, you're seeing no data here because we are not listening to Chatwoot. Given we are not inside Chatwoot at this moment, we'll quickly release this and show. We'll look at how it works. But a few changes here. So on turning on, you have this data coming up here. If you turn this off, you have to listen to that part. And this is pretty much the one which we need to fix here because it was actually constrained in the previous release. So I'm making a quick fix here, and anything else we can make a quick change to it. So list all customers is ready, and the get orders is also ready, and the get ratings is pretty much good enough, and the event handler is also ready enough. I'm gonna so let's make a quick query success alert. So it shows a alert type which says on message successful. Okay, so you just need to I'm just adding it to just make sure on this event get triggered and it heard and it's successful. So let me see if I can save this one more time. Okay, where is that on message event? And on advanced, I'm gonna add a new handler, which is the same thing as how we did before. So it's going to be what is that on message successful, right? So on message, right? So let's save this. And another thing to note for you on the Chatwoot post message, another query in the advanced, you turn this on and you have a option to run the query. Okay, this is on message event handler. All right, so I think it's time for us to release the second version and actually test how it works. So I'm making a few quick changes as how we do before any releases. Okay, so this is all good. So let's go ahead and make a release here. Click on the release button here. So it's completely released. So you don't need to get another new URL. It's the same URL always. So the URL always shows the latest release version, which now it shows the second version. So if you have to show this outside Chatwoot, which is on a browser, a new tab, it is expected that it should not show any data here because the toggle is off. So once you turn on the toggle to show all the customers, it should list you all the customers and it fetch the relevant data of the customer, which is the order details and the feedback of the history. So let's go ahead and try to use this app inside Chatwoot as a dashboard app. So you don't need to configure anything again. All you need to do, it's because it's manages in the versions as a new URL. There is no change in the URL. So if you just release, there you go, it comes here. So now as you have just seen, it is already coming here. So this email address or this customer Kervin is actually, I mean, only focus on the email. It is kjirsa3 at something.com. You go to messages and see the email address is the same, right? So this is how, I mean, Chatwoot is sending us the customer data to the application, and now we are listening to that data and actually fetching the relevant information of the customer and the orders and the feedback. If the agent wishes to look at different customers data, he can actually toggle on the all customers and look at all the data what he wants and also look more about him, right? So this is how we are doing it. So to just give you a recap, so we have done is, I mean, I have taken around 45 minutes, I'm not sure, but we are good. So we have a couple of integrations. We used three tables and text widgets to show the text, and then we had only one single data source which is Snowflake, and we are getting the orders, ratings, customer data, and the list all customers and everything from this Snowflake. And we have a few two JS run queries to listen to Chatwoot events, which is on message, and we're getting the email from there and showing what is relevant here, right? So that's pretty much about the demo. I'm super excited with the questions and look forward how I could answer them. And this is pretty much what I have, and I hope you liked it. And you can actually run, you can, I don't know how I share this URL, but you can give it a try. This is the URL which I can show you here. Try it out. It's easy to remember. Go ahead, open your Chatwoot apps, go to integrations, and hop over to the dashboard apps and click on create new dashboard app, and then give it a name and use this URL: https app.tooljet.com/applications /360 hyphen demo. They should be working everywhere. All right. Thank you so much. And I'll be looking forward for your questions. How I should share the
Yeah.
stop share.
Yeah. Thanks, Teja. Yeah, this was an excellent demo showcasing how, I mean, ToolJet and Chatwood dashboard apps work. So yeah, now I'll hand it over to Nitin. Over to you.
Thanks, Teja and Fayaz. It was a really wonderful talk, and it was really great to see how we could like make a really good dashboard within chatboard within like 20 30 minutes, and that dashboard was like really functional. I hope everyone enjoyed this, and moving forward, even we are planning to have a dashboard here. Yes, and also, if you have questions about the uh, current demo, please ask us in your YouTube channel as a comment, or you could post it to Twitter. We are live streaming there on Twitter and LinkedIn as well. Please keep your questions coming in. We will have a dedicated Q&A towards the end of this demo. And moving on to the next session, we have Help Center, which is an upcoming feature in Chatwoot. And I forgot to introduce myself. Myself, Nitin David. I am the co-founder of Chatwoot, and I do designs here. And yes, and I think Fayaz and Teja, thanks for the talk. I'll take it from here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope everyone enjoyed. And thank you so much, Fayaz. Thank you so much for hosting me. Thank you.
Yeah. So next we'll have a quick overview of the most exciting feature we have been working on at Chatwood. It's the Help Center. With the Help Center, if you have like a product or if you have a business, it will be necessary to have a documentation or like a guide on how to use your product or like how to work around your business. So that is where the Help Center comes. You can publish articles in your Help Center. This will act like a self-centered for your users, end users. So before going in, I'll share a presentation here. So I'll start with a quick uh, slide here, and then I will showcase a live working demo of how the dashboard looks in Chatwood dashboard. Yes. Uh, so Chatwood, the help center has like a dashboard section and a public portal section. A dashboard section is for the administrators or agents who are writing articles to create articles, manage articles. I'll go through the features we have right now, and then I'll go to the portal features, and then towards the end of the slide, I will show what we are building now and what we are planning to build. Yes, so I'll start with the features right we have now. We can create and manage articles. So as you can see on the image in the slide, you can see all the articles, and on the left side bar you can filter the articles by articles which you have written, draft articles, and there's a filter for category, and then the multiple portals. So while making Chatbot, we made sure that you can create more than one help center within a Chatbot account. Like you don't, if let's say if you have multiple products or multiple businesses, it would be really necessary to have like different help centers, and it might need like different themes. So with Chatwood, you don't have to log out from your current account or switch your account. Within a single Chatwood account, you can ask many portals as you want, and you can publish them under different URLs, and you can attach custom domains also. So portals makes it easier if you have like multiple products. The next one is draft support for the publish before publishing articles. So we have a draft article. So before creating an article, you could write a draft of the article. You don't have to publish it. It will be there, and you can come back, edit it. You can archive it, or you can publish it, and then you can do it. And even if it's for a published article, you can make changes, and it will be in draft, and this will make the editing life cycle which more easier for your editor. And then the next one is multiple local support for the portals. So as I had just mentioned, we have multiple portals. So inside every portal, you can add different locales. Let's say your business or product like spans across different countries, like let's say Spain. You will need Spanish. If you are in China, you will need a Chinese translation. So like that, you can add as many locales as you want, and you can have a translation of all the articles which you have written in English to the different languages. So for different audiences, you can actually show different translated version of the portal, even by the article. So this is something really good. If your audiences are in different countries. The next one is SEO friendly pages, and the last one is organized by category. So with the articles, you can add the meta description, meta title, meta tags, etc., which will make your page a lot more well functioning on the SEO or search results. And the last one is category. So we have articles, and you can organize all these articles by category. Let's say we have like on the sidebar company, culture, design, engineering, etc. We have like three articles there. So on the public portal or when a user sees it, it will be organized by category. I will come to that in the next slide. Yeah, that's almost what we have for the dashboard section of Chatwood Help Center. And moving on to the next slide, we will see how the public version of the Chatwood Help Center will look. Yeah, so as you can see, it's a really simple page, and you can see categories of categories and articles. So we are organizing the home page with articles under categories, so it is easy to navigate for users. And another thing is like this is a really lightweight and fast because since it's like really simple and rendered from the backend, there is pretty much no JS or anything involved, so it will be really SEO friendly for your business or product. And the next one is we have a search right under the, right above the top. You can search for articles, navigate around easily with that. And we have an option to personalize your portal. You can change the title, you can change the accent color according to your business, so it will look distinguished. And moving on to the last feature, articles organized by category. I think I mentioned it already. You can see like the articles are organized by the category. And we will move on to the next section where we'll talk about what we are building now and what we are planning to build. So in case if you have like suggestions or feedback about what we should do, or if you have no idea about this, please reach out to us through the comments. And yeah, I will go one by one. Yeah, so when once the art, I mean, your help center is ready, you might need to send links. Like when a user asks some question related to something which is already in the help center, you might need to send that link to your customer. So the if you have used Chatwoot dashboard, you might have seen there is a canned response. You can start a slash and it will show suggestions of the already pre-saved responses. So we will be adding a search to that same component where you can search for articles from there and insert the link, and you can easily send the link from the help center to your user as a message very easily. And the next one is showing a chat like chat widget on the portal. So yeah, so we can moving forward, we will be having a setting where you can link a portal to an inbox. So by default, the portal will show the live chat widget. So it should be easy for you to have that continuation from your website. When the user comes from your website to your portal, that live chat widget will be there. The conversations will be there. And yeah. And the next one is image and table support. This one is mainly for our editor in the dashboard section. Right now, we do not support image and tables. We will be adding support for image soon, and this should make your pages look really rich content. And next one is related articles in public portal. So this one is for the public portal. Let's say once from your end user perspective or like a visitor on your public portal, if someone is reading an article, they can see the other articles in the same category or the related articles which might be related to tags. So users can easily browse around your help center more easily without coming back to your customer support box for asking questions. So this will reduce the questions you will be getting every day. The last one is filter. Sorry, the second last one is filter and sort options for articles. Right now, we don't have any sorting and filtering mechanisms. We'll be adding a sort and filtering mechanism for the dashboard where you can sort, filter, and do all these things and save this as custom views, just like in the conversations dashboard. And the last one is new flow to add translation for an article. Yeah, right now the translations, you have to switch to a local to add a translation. And moving forward, we'll have a dedicated button in your article edit page where you can add a translation without going to a different page, and it will open up your version of a translation, translated article, and you can write the translation for a already written article, let's say in English, and you can write a new translation for that article in Spanish. And this should make the workflow much more easier. So that's pretty much is what we have planned for the upcoming releases. And I will now show a quick demo of what we have now on our app.chatwood.com. Oh, please, we'll have a Q&A towards the end of this. Yeah, as you can see, so this is what it will look like. You can see the articles here, the categories, the read count, the status. It is draft published, and there is one archived also. Yeah, on the left side bar, you have like different filters, and here you can switch the portals. Right now, I am on Chatwoot Handbook, so this is another dummy portal which I created now, and I could choose which locale to switch to. I'll now switch to English. So right now I'm under different portal, Nathan David, and I am using the local English. I could create an article here. I could do that. I will go back to the Chatwood handbook, and you can see articles here. I will look into a draft article, and I can write anything. I can make changes here, and it won't get published until I publish it. And also, yes, you can see there's a draft support working here. Then you can change your category. Uh, then you can change the order, and there is option for meta title, description, and tags for the SEO. You can do all these basic things here. So this is what we have for the dashboard. Moving, I will now showcase how the public portal will look like. So this is what the public portal will look like, and you can see the articles organized by categories. We have engineering category with 7 articles, marketing with 4 articles, and you can click around and navigate, and yeah, it looks good. So, and going back, you can search for articles, and yeah, all these suggestions will be there. You can use this. So this is pretty much simple, and moving forward we will have like a button here which will toggle the widget. So, and that's it for the demo of the help center. I hope you all enjoyed it. I will, yeah, so that's it for the help center demo. I will now bring on Fayaz and Teja to the stage. So it's the Q&A time. Please, we will be answering questions from YouTube, posted on YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn here.
Everyone.
Hi Teja, hi Fayaz. So we'll go with the questions one by one. We have hi Nestor and hi Nestor. We have a lot of highs. Ah,
So, okay. Oh, yeah, I think he mean app Smith, and my app was very slow. His tools are different. Okay, so in terms of having a big data, that could be a critical thing. It's always the case when you want to handle many things are going to be heavy when you go for big data. But I would recommend give it a try. Instead, I say it works or it doesn't. Give it a go ahead and try it out and see if that goes ahead. And I think it should be possible for you. But it's also a way to how you lighten the systems a bit. Maybe give it a try. I think if there is anything to add from the team inside, I would to actually join the Slack. It's tooljet.com/Slack. So you can go for tooljet.com/Slack. You can quickly join in, and then you can actually jump on there and actually bang on when whenever it breaks. So that's what usually have done. So I hope it should work, and you can go for it. Give it a try. Yeah, we have any other questions?
we have a couple more questions.
Oh yes. So NN8, yes. Let me quickly check. I'm kind of sure that it has an integration. So yes, it has the integration. So you can actually try it out. And it has the documentation is also here. So you can go to docs.tooljet.com/docs, and actually you can search for go for docs.tooljet.com and search for NN8. And if you sign in Tooljet, there should be an option to add the data sources here. So click on the data sources, and then you have this plus button, and then there you can see the option to integrate with N8N. Yes, that should be fine. Yes, there is the thanks for posting the Tooljet Slack. It's tooljet.com/Slack. And the Hacktoberfest is also here if you wish to contribute to ToolJet. It's a complete JavaScript and TypeScript code base. So if you are the someone who are looking for trying to contribute to it, uh, highly welcome. So first thing you could do is to learn, get into github.com/tooljet, and then see the issues. And if you want to spend talk more about it and discuss it again, the Slack is always the one. Go get in Slack and then start talking. Yeah.
We have one more question from Mac.
On the integration between tooljet, is there a way to only ever show data if it is being viewed from Chatwood dashboard app, so never all customers data? Kind of complex English to me to understand, but
I
is there a
think
way?
it's somewhat around the toggle button. We
Yeah,
were showcasing all users and user, which was like context to the chatbot conversation.
So I think on the integration between tooljet, is there a way to only ever show the data if it is being viewed from Chatwood dashboard app, so never all customers data? Yes, it is possible. I heard it from Pranav saying it. Yes, it is possible. Yes, I think Teja.
Um, Hey Teja, hey team. So I think this should be possible. So Mark, what you can do is, you'll get a webhook event. I mean, like a message event. Once you actually connect Chatwood. So there you're getting like a customer information until and unless that customer information is available, you can hide the entire application. Like it's more of a toggle. I guess like there is a toggle option and in ToolJet, which you can make use of. Go on to the next question.
Thank you. Yeah. Hello,
Put a
people. One thing I
parameter in
always wondered, yeah, always wondered in the dashboard app was to put a parameter in the URL, something like HubSpot slash user slash chatbot ID.
Okay, I
Why? Yeah.
yeah, I think Cloudberg means adding dynamic URLs. I mean, currently we don't support this, but I guess we can take this as an enhancement. Yeah, it should
All
be
right.
possible.
All right. Moving on to the next one. How can I manage permissions on which dashboard apps can be used by which agent? For example, the coupon should work only with the agent leader, but not normal agents. I think it's about permissions. Fires, can you help?
Yeah, I think you mean adding a visibility flag, which we currently don't support, but yes, we could add this as a future enhancement to dashboard apps feature.
Correct.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I think we are done with the questions. Yes. So thanks everyone for joining. Thanks to Teja and Fayaz. We will be wrapping up soon. And thanks to our viewers for making this good success. See you all. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Hey, thank you, Chatwood. Thank you for everyone being here. Yes, I said, what's next? You can build with Tooljet and Chatwood. You can join the Slack, and also you can go for blog.tooljet.com. There should be a couple of use cases because someone was asking about coupon code. It's there in the blog.tooljet.com. You can search for coupon, and it should be the thing. So try it out. I think that's one of the most relevant use case. Also, I could say. Thank you for putting it up.
Okay, Mark says, thanks, excellent demo, gents. You're welcome.